everyone. Welcome to this edition of the WyoSports video blog. Coming to you live from Logan, Utah, where the Wyoming Cowboys play Utah State Tuesday at 7 o'clock up at the Spectrum here on the campus of Utah State. I'm Robert Gagliardi, senior editor of WyoSports, and Cowboys are coming off a big victory last Saturday against New Mexico, 63-62 in overtime, in front of the largest crowd in 10 years at the AA. And I'm sure a lot of Wyoming fans won't soon forget that win. But you know what? This basketball team needs to put it behind it because it's got a tall task here tomorrow night against a Utah State team who 11-8, 4-3 in the league, but just playing very solid basketball, and a team that just doesn't lose here very often. Coach Stu Morrill, he's in his 17th season, is going to retire at the end of the year. 118-19 in conference games, 244-30 all time at home here at Utah State. That's a pretty amazing record for anybody. So the Cowboys lost here last season without Larry Nance, but you know, it's just going to be a tough game. Certainly a game Wyoming can win, but there's going to have to be some things that kind of fall the Cowboys' way. I think more than anything, as we've talked before, I think the Cowboys just have to continue to do what Wyoming does. Play good defense, still the third best scoring defense in the country, and be efficient on offense, shooting 49%. You know, from the field, that's among the top 20 in the country. I thought a big key against New Mexico last week, obviously the play of Larry Nance and the dunk in overtime and all that stuff. But, you know, Wyoming made 8 3-pointers in that game. That tied them for their second most of the season. Now, Wyoming doesn't need to become a three-point shooting team. In fact, against New Mexico, I mean, they were 6 of 17 in the first half from the field and 5 of 15 from three, taking way too many three-pointers. Certainly not saying that this team needs to start just going away from what it's done and just start jacking up threes. But if it can make a few more three-pointers, they're averaging about 5 a game, a little over 5. They made 8 against New Mexico. That's 9 extra points, and when you're in league play, those 9 extra points come in handy, especially for Wyoming at 6-1 in the league. 6 of those 7 games have been decided by single digits. So I think in any game Wyoming plays, they're going to have to knock down some perimeter shots to loosen up the inside, as teams are going to try to take Nance away and Derek Cook and just try to neutralize that. So I think that's going to be key. I think another big key is you look at these two teams and look at the rebounding numbers, and they're not staggering. I think Wyoming averages around 30, Utah State around 32. You know, Wyoming does a good job on the defensive glass and have been all season, but you know, what happens with second chance opportunities? I mean, New Mexico had 9 offensive rebounds against Wyoming, and late in that game, if you guys could recall, it was second chance points that helped New Mexico at least put itself in position to win the game in regulation and even early in overtime. So, you know, winning the battle of the glass is always important, but I think the team that has more offensive rebounds or prevents the team to have as many offensive rebounds is going to be a big key. You know, Utah State is a team that doesn't have a dominant big man, but it's got some length to it. Jalen Moore and David Collette are 2 6'8" guys. Moore is listed as a guard, and those two guys lead the team in scoring at about a little over 15, a little over 13 a game. Those are 2 guys to watch. Another interesting thing about this game is both teams don't really, I know Wyoming has shown it's gone to his bench a little bit more, plays about 7 guys fairly regularly. Utah State has 1 key guy coming off the bench, JoJo McGlaston, who's a very athletic 6'5" wing player. But other than that, at least according to the numbers, not a whole lot of production. So will Wyoming's bench play a factor in this? Will Utah State's bench play a factor? And how many guys are we going to see? We may not see a ton of guys play in this game, but you know, Wyoming is the hunted. They're 6-1 in the Mountain West, first place all by itself, but there's 6 teams within 2 games of the Cowboys in the league standings. And it's another road test. 3-0 on the road in Mountain West play. I certainly think Wyoming, with the way it's built, veterans, experience, and just and the way they're coached, they're going to be fine no matter what the atmosphere is going to be here. I think it's going to be another close game. It's going to come down to the wire, who can make some plays. And right now, stick with Wyoming. I think Wyoming will win a close one. I'm going to predict 62-58 for the Cowboys, and see if they can keep this going. If they win this game, be their 5th straight road win. They didn't do that. The last time they did that was in the 2012-13 season, where they started the year winning the first 5 road games. So that'll do it for me. For more coverage of Wyoming sports, see the Wyoming Tribune Eagle and Laramie Boomerang, and also log on to WyoSports.net. Enjoy the game, everybody.